and open the chat box. Right, we'll go for it. People can join in as and when or watch it back if they need to. So, I went round the supermarkets today and chose some deliberately good options and then some deliberately not so good options so that you could start to understand. And one of the things I noticed is I know how to do this intuitively. And the reason I know how to do that is because I spent a really long time tracking my macros, tracking my calories, and genuinely trying to learn exactly what is what in the supermarket. So this is one thing I would say to you to get really, really good at. And it's probably a little bit harder if you do an online shop. So sometimes it might be worth parking that for a couple of weeks. So you can actually start observing what's actually on food labels as a bit of an educational tool to go, right, okay, there are 10 different types of whatever you might be looking for. Which one is actually going to be the best option? But I want to talk about food labels, whether the statements on them are actually true, and how to kind of make sure that you know what you're looking for. I've now gone really small on this screen. As more of you join, I go da-dunk, da-dunk, da-dunk. So can't really see myself from this far away because I am extremely short-sighted. So I'm just going to try and get the food actually in the shop. So I'm going to start with some positive high protein options that actually are what they claim to be. So if we take, so I went into Aldi. Now, Aldi is a great example of high protein, and usually 9 times out of 10, I would actually say they can be really well trusted. And there is a reason for that. And that's because Aldi's marketing and PR team are incredibly well paid and they are genuinely very young people. If anyone has ever followed the story of Colin the Caterpillar on Twitter and everything they put M&S through, it's because they are savvy young marketers. And the reason why they've majorly capitalized on high protein, obviously the world has shifted. We know it's the right thing to be doing. But what they've done is essentially go, right, so people like me tonight on this Zoom, I am freely advertising their product. I am essentially doing their job for them without them having to pay to do anything. And you will see this all over Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Everybody is doing this. And what they've worked out is that's really fucking clever. But if their marketing was bullshit, we would be calling them out on that. So then the PR would be going the wrong way for them. So I actually think company Aldi is exceptionally good. Lidl's not bad at doing it either. The other supermarkets are probably quite behind on a lot of this. So if you have them locally, you're likely to get pretty good options. So we'll start with these high protein bagel thins. Now, one good trick to do is to start looking at the per 100 grams on the back of the packet because 9 times out of 10, that is exactly what every single product will also have in their nutritional data on the back. So you're not comparing apples with pears, you are comparing apples with apples when you look at the per 100 gram data. So if I take this one, so per 100 grams, so I'm going to ignore the actual data says per two bagel thins. I'm just going to look at the 100 grams. So in terms of calories per 100 grams, there's 293. So remember, that's not the bagel itself. And there are 16.7 grams of protein. If I now go for these New York Deli original bagel thins and look at the same data, we've got 297 calories, so pretty much about the same in terms of calories, but only 10.9 grams of protein per 100 grams. So this one is actually made with a higher protein wheat, and that's exactly what goes into it. I used to work in farming, used to deal with crops, so it's the exact grain of wheat that makes these what they are, and that's what's making it higher protein than this option. So this one, tick in a box, it does win. Now we've got some high protein flatbreads. So these are, we do actually eat these in this household. These are in my cupboard, didn't have to go out and buy these. So per 100 grams, 310 calories, protein 16.2. And then I just bought the closest thing that I could find, which were these parsley flatbreads. So if I look at these, where's the data? Here we go. So per 100 grams, 311 calories. So there's 1 calorie difference between the two. And this one is 7.8 grams of protein. So less than half for the same amount of calories. Now, one really good trick for you guys in order to see, is something actually high protein or is it just marketed as high protein? If you take the number of calories on that packet, so we'll break it down with something slightly easier in a moment. And then if you add a zero onto the end of the protein, so let's say it said 26 grams of protein, add a zero onto the end of that, and then see per the calories, is the protein actually higher than the number of calories stated? If it is, it actually means it can be trusted as a good rule of thumb that it is high in protein. So if we let's just take one of these yogurt pouches. So this is 25 grams of protein. So for the sake of this test, we're just going to say, so it's 250. Okay, so we're just adding a zero onto the end of that protein quantity. Now, calories for this specific pouch is 145. So 250 exceeds 145 calories, doesn't it? So that is actually good bang for your buck in terms of the protein per the calorie allowance. So it is fair to call this a high protein option. Now, if the protein isn't necessarily higher, now I would make a bit of an argument. It depends on what you're having. So I've got some ready meals here, which we will have a look at. And I would say sometimes for lunch, do you know what I mean? You might not be getting like huge volumes of protein in for what you're having, but in something like this as a snack option, really good rule of thumb, and it is a genuine, I would say, a genuine high protein, low calorie option for you to have. So then we've got the broccoli. I think these, yeah, they're both broccoli. So again, Aldi products. So if we look at this, so this is 22 grams of protein per pot. And so if we said 220, I'll make sure I'm getting this right. So this is 82 calories. So again, really good protein for the number of calories. Now, I think both of these are good options, but what I've also got is just a Greek yogurt. So this is not listed as a high protein. Now, it is 0% fat. Again, it's going to be lower in calories. We know that as a rule of thumb. It does actually say high protein. So this one is labeled as high protein and 0% fat. So let's have a look at the metrics on this. So 72 calories. So quite similar actually to this one. What was it? I think this one was in the 60s, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. It's 164 calories. So that is per, let's have a look, per 100 grams. So per 100 grams, this is 82 calories. This one's 125 grams, so 57 calories per 100 grams. So even though it's a bit harder to find, it is on this pot. So again, that 100 grams is always going to serve you well. And in terms of the protein, let's have a look where we are. All this writing so small, 10.4. So per 100 grams, 10.4. So again, it's still exceeding the amount of calories, or sorry, the protein's exceeding, if you put that zero on the end, the amount of calories in this. So all three of those are genuine, I would say, for their protein to calorie ratio. So they do have the right to call that a high protein item. Now let's have a look. Let me just do, so I bought a chicken tikka masala, so a ready meal. This is just whatever I could find in Aldi. Now, to be honest, this has no claims on it. Doesn't actually say high protein, doesn't say low in fat, doesn't say it anywhere. Quite honestly, it wouldn't be allowed to. So this one is 613 calories. So it's quite high in calories for what it actually is. I definitely feel that way. So if we look at per 100 grams, it's 165 calories, and there are 7.6 grams of protein. So that would be 76 if we were to move that decimal point for 165 calories. So that is not a great option, but it's not claiming to be, in all fairness. But if we then look at, and these were next to each other in the aisle. We then look at the chicken tikka masala, which is clearly labeled as a high protein option. This is 404 calories for the entire thing, so significantly lower. And it actually stays on the pack that it is 30 grams per protein. So that, even though if you were to put a zero on the end of that, so let's say it's 300 for 404 calories, so technically that one is less. I actually don't think that's necessarily a bad option for a lunchtime dinner. And if I were to have that, I would probably chuck a load of veg in on the side, and actually I've got a low calorie high protein option. Do you know what I mean? And it is significantly better than getting this one. Now, I haven't done a taste test on these. This one might taste like shit. It genuinely might, and this one might be incredible. So you might hate this and you might not want to buy it. You've got to find what is actually right for you and what you enjoy, but you can see the difference in the smart branding, this is obviously put together by somebody who knows what they're doing. And there is actually a TV show on Aldi as well where they're trying to bring like their UK suppliers in, and they're choosing what to put into the store, and a huge amount of thought goes into it. So again, this kind of thing is less likely to keep making the cut over this sort of thing with the branding, with the packaging. It just makes sense as a reasonable option. I buy quite a lot of the protein range from Aldi, very tasty. This is it. So if you're saying, God, I'm really struggling, and this is the kind of thing, by the way, that I would eat before cheerleading. 9 times out of 10, I will have a meeting at 6 p.m. and I've got to be out the door for 7:15. The kind of thing I would chuck in the microwave and I would eat. Now, there are coaches out there that would say, oh my God, it's the worst thing in the world. I can't believe you would tell your clients to do that. Tell them to fuck off. We are busy and we don't always have 1,000,001 hours in the day. Now, I'm not saying you want to live on ready meals, but I am saying if you have something like this in your freezer and you need to turn to it over ordering a takeaway or ordering something, like if you like Indian food, why not choose something like this? Again, you could slow cooker it. You could make the whole thing from scratch if you were organized, disciplined, chuck all the ingredients in the slow cooker, you could do that. But on the occasion where something like this comes into play, I don't personally see any issues with that. I fully back that in order to get you to that goal that we're looking for. So there's no issue. So we're going to switch into now some of the things that I don't think are necessarily good. Now, these were still from Aldi. Now, I actually don't buy my porridge oats in sachets like this, but I just thought, you know what, it is a good example. So this is a Harvest Morn protein chocolate flavored oats. So 8 sachets are in this box. So it's 231 calories. Made up with semi-skim milk, so I think that's including the milk. 102 calories per 100 grams. So let's have a look at the protein. So it's 13.3 grams per 100 grams salt, and the 100-gram calories on this is 382. For me, this is way too fucking high in calories, way too high. And like I've been eating Thomas's gluten-free oats because mine have run out, but if I take the kind of oats, I do have a very sad small quantity left of what I would have. So I just buy them in the big bag and make them this way. So per 100 grams, 367. So the protein in this is 12.1. This is not claimed as a high protein. The protein in this is 13.3. Calories wise, 10 in it. This is not high protein. This is the marketing that is pulling you in as a high protein option. It is not that, like, it literally says protein right across the top. And then if we just look at a same for same, so 373 calories. So this one's actually lower in calories, 13 grams. So it's lower in calories and it's got 0.3 grams less protein in this box, which has no fancy protein marketing on at all. So this is an example where this is complete and utter bollocks, basically. And any porridge oats are probably likely to have the same level of protein in. Now, they don't necessarily have the same number of calories in. So this is where I would get quite savvy at looking at your oats. You can find like the ready break ones through the roof for calories. Now, it depends what you're putting with it, whether you go for the syrup flavor or no flavor or whatever, but I'd rather control my flavoring personally that I'm putting into my oats. But yeah, that's an example. So this one is still Aldi. Morrison's do the same thing. Another one to watch out for is things like the high protein granola. It's usually not high protein, it is just written on the packaging. So that's an example of where it does not work. Now, the protein pizza. Now, I think this is, unless I was feeding like a 4-year-old, which I'm not responsible for feeding 4-year-olds, just to make this clear. I'm not saying, I'm sure they do eat pizza, but this, I feel like, where's the fucking rest of it? Do you know what I mean? It's not going to fill me up. So, this is 595 calories for the whole thing, 29 grams of pizza. You can see protein is all over this. This to me sounds disgusting as well, by the way. A cheeseburger pizza. Sounds disgusting. So then I just picked up, this was right next to it, okay? I just picked up another, what seems to be more like a full-size pizza for an actual adult. So this one is, oh God, quick maths. This one is 680 calories for the sake of argument. So it is higher in calories, but if we look at the back, so per 100 grams, this one, oh no, it's not. So this one, yeah, so this is 246 calories per 100 grams. This one is 214 calories per 100 grams, so it is less in calories. This one's 12.2 grams of protein, and this one's 11. There is barely anything in it. So again, this one's not really holding up to its truth, is it? So this is where, for me, if you're going to have a pizza, have the damn pizza. Don't necessarily buy into it. I mean, this sounds disgusting. I don't know anyone that's buying that other than me for this demonstration because I don't, well, that is not going to get eaten unless Thomas decides to do that one day. But yeah, so tried the cheeseburger pizza, wouldn't recommend. I'm surprised you bought that. I think it sounds vile. I'd rather have a cheeseburger or I'd rather have a pizza personally. My husband said the same and he isn't fussy. This is it. So they're examples of where to get a little bit savvier. And then I had a look at some fat options. Now I didn't do as much digging into these. So, and I don't shop at Asda, so I was getting a little bit confused. And I'm not gonna lie, I want to get out of there. It's not the store for me. So we don't have an M&S locally, by the way. That would have been a great one to do, but we are nowhere near higher brow supermarkets where I am. So we have got mild grated cheddar. So each 30-gram serving. So usually certain products will stay within serving sizes, so you could look for that as well. The one to watch out for is usually actually condiments. Some will do it per 15 grams and some will do it per 20. So again, just make sure you are comparing genuine like for like. But if we take this mild grated cheddar, so 30 grams, 135 calories. Now we've got this one which says light. Now, when I was looking for low fat options in the supermarkets today, one thing I noticed is a lot of them have taken that claim away. They're not saying low fat anymore, they're saying light or lighter. So I feel like there must have been a bit of scrutiny that's gone on that they're not allowed to make some of these claims anymore. And what does light mean? You're assuming by buying it that it is going to be lower in calories. And this is, to be fair, and in all fairness, a lot of the options I looked at were genuinely lower calories when they said the word light. So that's just something to, but again, you guys need to get savvy with understanding, looking at labels and just spending a little bit of time actually looking at what you're putting into your trolleys. So this is 102 calories and the other one was 135 calories. So you are getting more bang for your buck in terms of calories with this, the lighter one, than you are the normal one. This cheese is also not likely to get eaten. I'm on a cut. First thing to pretty much go in this household when I'm cutting is cheese. And I know if Jane, I don't know if Jane's on, she'd be gutted to hear that because She was like, I love cheese. And I know a lot of people do, but that to me is just compromisable and it will just go because I prefer to have my carbs than to have the fat. But that's personal preference, no right or wrong. I mentioned, I think it was last week, that I was talking about salad cream. I mean, I do like salad cream, but this is even a lot of salad cream for me to try and get through. So I will try my best over the coming years. So, what we've got here is this is a classic salad cream, like a medium level as Asda, yeah, Asda branding. So this is 15 grams serving for this one, 46 calories, just normal. Then we've got 70% less fat. Now we know there are 9 calories per every 1 gram of fat. So every single time you have fat, it is 9 calories per every 1 gram. Carbs, 4. Protein, 4 calories. So fats are all, they're over double carbohydrates and protein, which is why it's a crock of shit to need to cut out carbs. But that's a different topic. We won't go on a tangent. So this is 17 calories per 15 grams, and this one's 46. So it feels about fair, doesn't it? You know what? You kind of go, yeah, okay, that's fair. And then I just picked up what I'm assuming is the basic. The basic, I'll know what's the store called? Asda branding. This one, no marketing on there. It's not saying it's low. It's not saying it any of that. 16 calories per 15 grams. So it is less. This option is less than even the one that says it is lighter. So this is where things like your condiments and your labels in general, why it's so worth getting to understand this. And for some reason, this happens across the board in all supermarkets with salad cream. I don't fully know why. I don't know why they do it, but I can almost guarantee you the cheapest one, Heinz will be a lot higher. I can guarantee it. Is it Heinz that do salad? No, probably Hellman's. No, they do mayonnaise, don't they? Whoever does salad cream, whichever big brand you get, worth looking at. I also looked at things like gravy granules where they said less salt. The lower salt, higher calories than the normal one. So again, having a look at packaging and understanding what is my goal here. Do I genuinely need less salt in my diet and less sodium? So actually, I'm still better off going for that one, even with slightly higher calories. Or would I rather save on the calories if I'm having gravy or whatever it might be? And that was huge across the board, like the low salt, lower sugar, all of that. So just get really, really good with your packaging. And I promise you, it makes your life easier when you can start to connect these dots and actually see it for yourselves. This is where, when people say, do you have to track for the rest of your life? No. Do I track now? No, I do not. Have I spent stupid, crazy amounts of time really digesting packets so that one day I could just intuitively do my supermarket shop? And we are creatures of habit. You will notice a lot of the time you rotate through very similar dishes. So you kind of know what you're likely to buy. The other thing I want to show you actually is I know a lot of you guys have these. But these are in Aldi, and if you work from home, I think these are great. Personally, I think these are really good. So again, if we take that rule of putting a zero on the end, so 150, well, it's 15 grams of protein. So if we said, right, 150, 93 calories per skewer. So you know that is a really good option. And all I do is chuck two of these in an air fryer, make a salad, half a bag of ready-made rice in the microwavable bags. And I'm literally eating within like 15 minutes. It's taking me hardly any time whatsoever. You get them in all the different flavors, the different options. Like, again, I think they're great for busy women on the go, or if you're working from home, you don't have a huge amount of downtime. Or, as Coach Kat does, she actually brings these to my house. So when we have our meetings, she will have her skewers in a Tupperware box with her Caesar salad, with whatever else she's choosing to put in there. So she's just eating it cold on the move. Like, do you know what I mean? Because this is already pre-cooked. So making your life a lot easier. So definitely recommend them. I'm going to put them back in the freezer because they are freezer food. My hay fever is kicking off again. Right, the plant-based Aldi skewers, really good. I haven't seen those, genuinely haven't seen them, but maybe that's because I'm not plant-based and I haven't looked. That could genuinely be it. Or I imagine they probably go to some of the top Aldis first and then work their way across the country. Really good for working from home days in high protein, flatbread, Greek yogurt. This is it. All of those things really, really helpful, isn't it? Did I put my own thumb up then? Don't know, I've done that. I'm just going to ignore that, unless that was one of you or if I did that. Iceland chicken skewers, also great and are always 3 for 10. There you go, another good option. So just get creative. I'm not moving. It can't be me putting that thumb up. Like, I don't know how that's coming on my screen. So, does anyone have any questions on anything of what we've covered? These are a great little armrest. It's working out well. I'm getting my money's worth. They're fucking expensive as well, I thought. It was like nearly £2 for salad cream. Bearing in mind, it's like the cheapest salad cream on the market as well. I was like, Jesus, how much is food these days? How much is everyone's food shop, by the way? I'm at like, I reckon 140 quid a week for two. It's wild, wild out there at the minute, isn't it? Absolutely wild. And that's an Aldi shop as well. Crazy. Right, has anyone, yeah, so expensive. This is it. Don't have food waste, by the way. Really, I would nail down what you're going to have. Like, we're big into not wasting food. If you're noticing you're wasting food, get a lot smarter with your shopping up front because there's no need to be wasting food or freeze things, batch cook. Do you know what I mean? Get really, really savvy with it. That's something that we really try and make sure we do. Or we will have a like a poke bowl with all of the things that are half eaten every Friday night. We'll just have a poke bowl with random things, just put in whatever's been left out throughout the week. So also highly recommended. Yeah, us too. Aldi for two people, 120 quid a week, plus things from Asda. This is it. It's not cheap these days, but yeah, there we are. So, any other questions while you've got me? Different topic if I can. I keep getting cramp in my toes of the evening. That's not fun. I remember getting my first cramp when I was in ballet and I was about 17. I'd never had a cramp before, and I honestly thought I was dying. I was like, what is this? And like your toes go. It's a really horrible feeling. Always have my water intake, so not sure why I'm getting it. Are you stretching beforehand? I would definitely say, and I mean, it sounds a bit weird to do like toe specific stretches, but the only time I get cramp now is in a swimming pool. Genuinely, if I try and go like on point, like on my tippy toes in a swimming pool, I don't know why that happens, but I would definitely say just stretching your feet out, stretching your toes out, and see, are you gripping? Are you like trying to claw the floor with your feet? I mean, we'll find out on Saturday. We'll have a look at your feet. That's weird, isn't it? We'll all be staring at Victoria's feet.
I didn't know if it could be because I'm doing it at home and I do everything barefoot.
I mean, I don't know. Doing it barefoot and having shoes on shouldn't really. I don't think
Yeah.
that should be the thing that's making the difference.
It's worse when I have the split spots.
Okay, so where your toes are like in that like bent,
Yeah.
I would just do some like toe raise, like do you know what I mean? Well, calf raises technically. Just bring those in at the beginning, get your toes like moving and just see, or like just going up and down your stairs, getting those like feet flexed before you actually start your workout.
Okay.
Um, but it might just be that your toes, they're a very weak part of the anatomy. And if you're getting quite heavy and your toes are going, no, lady, no, I'm not having this. They genuinely just might. It's a bit like grip strength, isn't it? Where your hands, like your toes are probably going, ooh, I don't
Yeah.
know about this. But I think, like every other muscle, you just might need to warm them up a little bit. You might need to just get a little bit of the blood circulating around your toes before you actually activate in the workout and see if it makes a difference. But keep me in the loop on that one. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But
I'll try it.
No direct thing. It could be like a bit of sodium buildup if you're having a lot of salt. So making sure, but you are hydrated, aren't you? Do you eat a lot of salt out of interest?
No, I don't particularly add it too much.
That's it. Yeah. So I would just say all you can really do is stretch on that one, and it's just getting the blood circulating around your toes.
I will try that.
That's niche. That one's niche. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm here for it. Are the protein label food worth it, or should we just choose more naturally high protein food? You can absolutely not go near anything labeled high protein. You genuinely can. So, like this, like Greek yogurt, I mean, it does actually say it's high protein on this, but I would say that's a more organic option. Whereas these guys are actually, these are made with a cream cheese. That's what's bringing it. But so is like yogurt is yogurt. Do you know what I mean? It's all starting from a cow and moving its way through. So I would say that's down to your preference. There's no right or wrong there. So, for instance, we would have like a homemade chicken gyros kind of thing. So, I wouldn't use the chicken skewers that I got out. I would just use chicken. But rather than putting it on a flatbread, I would put it on a high protein flatbread just because I'm just going to get that little bit more bang for my buck with the protein. But you could have a flatbread. Do you know what I mean? Like, and usually by that point, I'm just getting a bit extra in. Do you know what I mean? I've got a half ton of bloody chicken on there. Like we had this evening, what did we have? We had chicken wraps. Do you know what I mean? The wraps weren't high in protein. The chicken was the chicken. The chicken was doing the job. So I wouldn't necessarily go out and get it. But if it's the same price in the supermarket, I'm happy to have it. Now, I do personally quite like these as my afternoon snack. It is something a little bit sweet, something a little bit like it's actually quite sweet to a point where I can't quite finish it because I'm like, Ugh. But if you've got a sweet tooth and you want to do something like that, then there's no issues with doing it. And like for instance, for breakfast, even though there is a little bit of protein in oats, we might be talking like 12 grams or something, but I do have a protein shake. So I do choose to have, which is a synthetic protein essentially. I do choose to have that because that's been my breakfast for as long as I can remember. I don't love breakfast. It's not my favorite meal of the day. I'm just having it and I chug it back and it's quite liquidy. I would never personally put oats in the microwave. Ugh. I don't like hot oats. I literally blend them in the blender with my protein powder, with my almond milk or semi-skim milk if I'm in a bulk, and that's it. I chug it back and I'm gone because it's not my favorite thing. So I'm happy to just get that in. At the weekend, if I've got a bit more time, I might have smoked salmon on some sourdough. And I'm good with that. Maybe with some scrambled eggs or something like that. Again, absolutely fine. If you're reaching the right protein levels and you don't need that extra little bit here and there, then you do you. You absolutely do not have to have anything just because it says high protein on. The same as the ready meals. Like I say, would I recommend having it every single day? No, I wouldn't. But if you're going to get stuck in a bind and you need something very, very quick and you are exceptionally busy, or if you've got a microwave at work and you know you're going to be in and out of meetings, and that's the difference between skipping a meal altogether, which is then going to lead you to make some very poor choices with snacking. Absolutely have something like a protein ready meal that you just chuck in the microwave. You can have it very, very quickly and away you go. So it's about assessing you and your way of living and how much time you've got available and how much, like I say, you could easily make this in the slow cooker. If you've got more time or you're working from home, chuck all of it in the morning, and by evening time it's already cooked and you can batch it so you've got some for the rest of the week. There are some amazing slow cooker curry recipes. That was a mouthful. So yeah, you've got loads of options, loads. Anyone that struggles to hit the protein, I'm like, try harder. It is literally everywhere these days. I get it a bit more for vegetarians and vegans. I think if you're a little bit fussier, but even those guys now have some incredible, incredible options available to them as well. So yeah, it's normally just a case of people not realizing what is available to them and making sure that they actually reach the required protein levels. That's usually the thing. And then when you come into the program, you're like, oh, actually, it's normally the first couple of weeks somebody might struggle, and then you see that shift where they start to get it right and it works. Right, do we have any other questions? It could be about anything, by the way, about the program, about reps, home program, gym program, form question, toes cramping. That's how specific it can be. No, we're all good. Right, well, I will see a load of you ladies on Saturday. It's the week, it's here. So I'm going to record a video with all of the answers to what to wear, a little bit of specifics, all of the details that you need, and then you'll be able to watch it back in your own time, or I'll do a voice note, but I'll make sure you've got all of the information over the next couple of days so nobody's panicking, nobody's worrying, and if there's anything specific, pop it in the Strong Her Summit group chat, and then I'll obviously make sure that I can address anything. But all the main questions that I can think of, I will pop in there. And yeah, see you guys on Saturday. And if you can't make it, boo! If you're brand new, there will be another one because this one went quick. All the spaces were reserved. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Oh, also, if you are coming to the summit, it's entirely up to you if you actually want to do the check-in for your own benefit. But obviously, I'm going to be seeing you in person. We'll be discussing anything that we need to go through there. If you're not coming to the summit, please just check in as normal. But if you are coming, I'd probably would say still check in just so we've got the data on the system. But we will just be seeing you in person. So there is a high possibility. Also, anyone who is usually Kat, the one doing your check-in. Kat's actually traveling. She leaves the country on Wednesday, but she will be traveling on Friday between where she's going. Now, she will be coming back to all of the check-ins that she receives. Apart from if you're coming to the summit, I will obviously be going through those. But yeah, just be aware there might be a bit more of a delay this week. So you might get it back on Saturday, you might get it back on Sunday, but you will receive it back in time for the new week. So just a bit of a heads up on that one with Coach Kat leaving us the bitch. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But she will be at the next one because I will drag her there and I will make sure that no holidays are planned. We're all going to be in the same space at the same time. But yeah, right. Have a lovely week. I will see some of you at check-in and I will see hopefully the rest of you at the summit. Mwah. Peace out. Bye.